Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our Bay Paths Occupational Therapy on Campus Program online info session. This session is going to give you an overview of the program, its curriculum. We will chat a little bit about financial aid, the admissions, and then at the end, we'll go over some of the typical questions that are being asked when pertaining to our OT program at Bay Paths. So let's get started. My name is Anastasia Sprumuli. I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path, and I'm going to introduce Dr. Cheryl Bukakis.
Hi, Dr. Cheryl Bukakis. I am Assistant Director of the OT programs here at Bay Path.
Wonderful. All right, so let's get started. So for some of you who are not familiar with Bay Path University, just a little bit about us. We are a not-for-profit private institution that was established in 1897. We technically have 3 campuses. Our main campus, which is in Longmeadow, Massachusetts. Our Philip A. Trine Health Science Center, which is where the OT is housed, is in our East Longmeadow campus, which is about 4 miles away. And then we have a huge presence online with our online programs. We do have a fairly small student body population of 3,300 students. This includes our undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral students. But we do have a very fast growing alumni population. We have over 17,000 worldwide alumni. And then as an institution, we are accredited by the New England Commission of Higher Education. When it comes to our OT program, it is very important to know that we are accredited by ACODE through AOTA. Any institution that you're applying to, especially for OT, you want to have this accreditation. And as I mentioned earlier, the OT department is housed at our East Longmeadow, Massachusetts campus at the Philip A. Trine Health Science Center. Just a little bit about the program, just to go over, over the overview. And it is an 81 credit program. It is considered an accelerated 2-year program because it is complete in 24 months, 2 years, including level 2 field work. So it's perfect for those students who want to dedicate their 2 years to the OT program, take their exam, and then become OTRs. So this is the perfect program for those who just want to move through it very quickly. It does only start once a year in September, and our course delivery is on campus. So classes, this doesn't mean you're going to be pen to paper the entire time, but this is when we like to have students be available for classes, labs, speakers that come in, your exams, and any off-site visits. So classes can be held Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30. And I'm going to pass things on to Dr. Bukakis to chat with you guys about the curriculum design, level 1 and level 2 fieldwork.
So our curriculum design is a scaffolded design. So what that means is that each course that you take builds off of the previous courses that you've taken to really have a strong foundation, and then kind of continue in difficulty and in increased insight, and then finally in application. And I'll talk about that in a second. So that's also one reason why we have certain prerequisites for this program. So you'll notice foundations of awareness. That blue area is most of your prerequisite courses, your sociologies, your AMPs, some other courses, more specific to different tracks that we have here at Bay Path as well. But those are going to give you that foundational knowledge, and then we expect you to kind of retain that knowledge to then continue that awareness and build that knowledge. So we start off with that purple area in your 500 level, master's level courses, which are more intro courses, intro to occupational therapy, Research 1, and also your advocacy course, which help to just build that foundation of what is OT, what are policies, what is kind of research, and then you'll use those skills and then in all your additional courses that you'll take. So as we continue to build on that knowledge, you're going to start learning more specific areas of practice, such as neurorehabilitation, You'll also look at, build on, we have a series of 2 mental health courses, a series of 2 pediatric courses, about 3 different physical disability courses that, again, they build off of each other. So the content that you learn in one course, you might even carry over a case study to another course to continue to develop and build that information. So as you're building that knowledge, we'll then begin to expect you to be able to start using that knowledge and applying those skills. So you might see that done through things like lab practicals. Certainly as you go out on level 1 fieldworks, which I'll talk about in a second, you'll use a lot of those skills that you're learning in the classroom to then work with actual individuals as well. And then finally at the end is that skill acquisition and application. So you're going to take all those skills and you're actually going to use them. And this culminates truly in your level 2 fieldwork experiences where you are out, doing the job of an entry-level occupational therapist. So certainly heads very nicely into talking about what your level 1 and your level 2 fieldwork experiences might look like. So your level 1 fieldwork experiences are built into your academic semesters. So I really encourage everybody to make sure you're checking out our curriculum outline that's available on the website, and you'll see that you have level 1 fieldwork experiences built into your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th academic semester. So your first academic semester doesn't have a level 1 fieldwork. So again, you're building kind of that foundational skills, that beginning of that knowledge. And then every semester after that, you have 1 level 1 fieldwork experience in each semester. So that's 3 different fieldwork experiences. So our 3 different areas that you have a level 1 fieldwork experience in include pediatrics, a psychosocial rehabilitation, which is looking more at the mental health aspect, and then also a adult physical disability aspect. So the pediatric and the physical disability occur in either the spring or the fall semester, and those can be done multiple ways, and through the years we've done it in multiple ways. So what it might look like, it could be a combination of any of the following. It might be virtual case studies. Either way, no matter what, all your level 1 fieldwork experiences, we hire occupational therapy supervisors to guide you through the experiences and also guide you through the learning assignments, and also for you to refer to, ask questions to, get help from and feedback from. So you're always going to have an occupational therapist that is there with you to guide you, whether it be virtually or in person, depending on the experience. So again, it could be virtual case studies. We've utilized SimuCase on and off through the years, and sometimes we use different cases as well in coursework. It could be within our local communities. So because you are here in our East Longmeadow campus, we have a lot of ties with our greater community. So we have a sensory clinic with pediatrics called SensaPlay with one of our local community organizations. We also have run groups with senior housing, so assisted living facilities or even dementia care units, where you and your supervisor will go in with maybe a couple, small group of students to interact, to run groups, to provide occupational therapy service to the residents. So that's been, again, through different senior houses, assisted living facilities, senior centers, and that could be an example of a more physical disability. Also with the psychosocial rehab, that runs over the summer semester, and your summers are fully online here at Bay Path. So it is a full summer semester, but you don't have to worry about coming to campus, which is nice. And so the summer semester psychosocial rehab can either be self-directed, where you go out into your own communities and find an area of a mental health need. So it could be at a senior center running kind of just how to transition as you age, or even transitioning into retirement. Types of groups with that impact of how that impacts their mental health. It could be working at a summer camp and running like an anti-bullying program and how that impacts mental health, or an anti-stress program. There's a lot of stress and anxiety in our school age students. So that might be something that you look at running. So those are just a couple ideas. Sometimes we do have groups as well that we might offer to you that, hey, we're running this group. Do you want to be a part of that? So sometimes, again, it can be self-directed, or we might have an opportunity for you to enter a group that is already kind of in process and in running. So these really level 1 fieldwork experiences aren't necessarily with an occupational therapy on-site at the setting. And actually for most of your level 1s, you will see that that is not true. And that's why we have OT supervisors that are going to help you. But it's our way of being able to provide also a community service by providing OT services to a setting that doesn't have OT. And also maybe they'll see the benefits of occupational therapy and look into maybe hiring their own OTs in the future because they see those benefits. So really at BayPath, we really like to have that community involvement. We really value supporting our communities, and so we're able to do that through our level and fieldwork experiences. Level 2 fieldwork experiences are done after you've completed all your academic coursework successfully. So as I note, as Anastasia noted, you come on in September, which is a fall semester. So you do a fall, a spring, a summer, and a fall. And then that January, you would then go out on level 2 of your second year, level 2 fieldwork experiences. So level 2 fieldwork experiences are basically like an internship. You're going to go out, you'll have an OT supervisor, and you will work the full-time hours of your OT supervisor. So it could be like 34 to 40 hours. I think even 32. If it's more of a school-based, it tends to be around 32 hours to 40 hours. It could be 4 10-hour days. I actually did that as one of my level 2 field works. I did 4 10-hour days in a subacute rehab. It's whatever the hours that your supervisor is working. So we ask students to plan ahead. So plan ahead that you will need to make sure that you don't have other responsibilities during these times, of course. It is a really great learning experiences. This is where you apply the information you learn, but it can be kind of mentally and physically exhausting because it's just new to you. So this is where you really put all those skills to practice. So it's one 12-week placement, January, February, March, and then your second 12-week placement, April, May, and June. So by the end of June, you will have successfully completed your level 2 fieldwork and therefore completed your degree. While you're out on level 2 fieldwork, you also have plenty of support. There's a little seminar course that you take, which is like a half a credit. That's really just to touch base with your peers, to touch base with your fieldwork coordinator, to also provide as an assistance, or to, say you have a question, hey, this happened, what should I do? So they can help you with that as well. So after really about your first semester, about a year out before your level 2 placements, we are wonderful fieldwork department. So we are very lucky to have an entire fieldwork department here at BayPath that helps to manage your level 1 and your level 2 fieldwork experiences. So they will ask you geographically, what locations do you plan on being during your level 2 fieldwork? So this could be where you're living currently, or it could be you want to stay with an aunt in Florida for 3 months. So we have placed students nationally, including Hawaii and Alaska. So we're well versed. We have multiple contracts and placements across the US. So they really have a lot of experience, and they're really a wonderful team to work with. So they'll start just asking you questions about, geographically, where do you plan on being? And they're the ones that find you your placement. So you don't have to worry about that. They do all the legwork. They'll communicate you with the progress and the process. And they'll also help guide you through completing all the necessary paperwork, making sure you have your vaccinations and things like that for your specific site. So they'll make sure to set you up for success, and they're a really great resource.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So when it comes to student services and all of the support that you get as as graduate students, a lot of the time people think, oh my goodness, all of the services are only for undergrad. That is not true at Bay Path. We are very involved with our graduate students and the support that we provide them. It starts with our graduate admissions office, the OT department, ranging anywhere from the registrar's office to online learning support to even the public safety or student disability services. All of these departments and more are really to help support you as a graduate student and beyond, even with our alumni office. But most importantly, and I feel like the people that are going to support you the most through this entire program and the process afterwards is our dedicated faculty. They truly are your #1 fans. They're your #1 supporters. They're really here to help you be a successful graduate student, to guide you through the process, to be there to support you. So these are all wonderful people. They're really dedicated. I know Dr. Bukakis has been here as a student at Bay Path, and obviously she's the program director. So she's kind of been through it all, and just shows you how dedicated some of our faculty really are to the students and to the program. As far as specific OT student support, we do have academic assistance in terms of online writing tutors we have, on-campus tutors. You have faculty office hours, so each faculty is available. I think it's 4 hours a week to be available to you as students to ask questions, stop by and say hello, bring up any concerns that you might have. And they'll be there to support you, but they're available way more than the 4 hours. So anytime that you need them, they will be there for you. We have OT content tutors. So usually they are the OT students who have been there, done that. So they're great support for you as well. The same thing is for the OT lab assistants. So they've done the courses, so they're there to support you as well if you have any questions or need assistance or tutoring. When entering our program or interested in our program, there are 5 prerequisite courses that need to be complete, in progress, or maybe you haven't started them, or maybe you didn't meet the grade or recency requirement. When applying, that is perfectly okay. That's why applying early is of great benefit, because if you were to be accepted, it would be a conditional acceptance upon pending you completing maybe your degree and then completing any prerequisite courses if they're not done yet. This gives you plenty of time to complete it prior to starting the program in September. But the courses are Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2. Both of them need to be with labs. They need to be with a B- or better and completed within the last 5 years of when you're planning to apply. A course in statistics, a course in developmental psychology. This needs to cover the development birth to death. And then the last one needs to be 1 course in either sociology, culture, or anthropology. The last 3 courses need to be with a B- or better in each course and completed within the last 10 years of when you plan to apply. Again, all of these courses individually need to be with a B- or better within the appropriate timeline. You can apply with courses that are outstanding for whatever reason that might be, as long as if you were to be accepted, they are completed before starting the program in September. I'm going to have Dr. Bukakis chat a little bit about there's a lot of questions floating out there. But what is the difference between an entry-level MOT, entry-level OTD, and then the post-professional OTD?
Yes, great questions. So a lot of people still are a little bit confused. So gosh, I don't remember when, but back a few years ago, there was word that we were going as a profession to an entry-level doctorate. That quickly got turned around, and we are a dual entry. profession. So you can either enter the profession of occupational therapy as an occupational therapist as either a master's level entry or a doctorate level entry. Both programs, no matter which way you enter, still sit for the same national boards exam. So you sit for the same MBCOT exam, whether you have been educated as a master's level or a doctorate level. So we here at BayPath really feel strongly about sticking to that master's level, entry level, because we think that that just makes, one, the program more affordable to students, and it also allows you then, if you want to continue your education, to focus your post-professional doctorate in an area of practice that is more meaningful to you, an area you might already be working in, and then you can apply that directly to the clients that you are serving. So you also, if you go to get a post-professional later, might be able to get some of that education covered by your employers. So a lot of times different employers will offer continuing education funds as well. So something else to consider is most fields as an entry-level therapist, whether you're an MOT education level or an OTD education entry level, a lot of times the pay isn't any different at that entry level. So it doesn't mean necessarily because you have an entry level OTD that you'll be earning more money than somebody next to you that has that entry level MOT. So again, we have our entry level is a master's degree here at BayPath, a master's of occupational therapy, so an MOT. But we also offer a post-professional doctorate that is fully online. So we really do value, of course, education. We are an educational institution, but we think that getting that post-professional OTD is a little bit more meaningful to students. So after you've completed your MOT, you can enter our post-professional OTD, which is 100% online, asynchronous. You're also able to do so while transferring 2 of your courses in. So you're saving a little bit of time and money by transferring 2 of your master's level courses in. And you aren't required to have that 1 year of working experience, but you can be working in a clinical setting and exploring what else there is to know about occupational therapy and really make it a little bit more personally meaningful to you in that post-professional OTD, where we do have different specialty tracks. Our entry-level MOT is generalist, so that prepared you to sit for that boards exam.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do, just to add, our post-professional OTD program does have 6 different concentrations, which is unusual for a post-professional OTD program. 2 of kind of really hot fields right now is, or concentrations that we have, is our mental health concentration that we have, as well as the aging concentration. So just something to think about. This is going to be the fastest and less expensive option to do. And then you can work as an OTR while getting your post-professional. So just something to think about. When it comes to student financial services, we have an entire department who are experts in this area. So if you do need to reach out to them, they are available via phone, email. If you live locally, you can stop by in person and visit them as well. But they do provide FAFSA Fridays. This is where you can get live help filling out your financial aid application. They're also able to answer any questions live as well on those Fridays. We do have Stafford loans available through FAFSA, which are loans you borrow and pay back. And students, regardless of income level, do qualify for up to $20,500 per year. And our approximate tuition right now is $1,050 per credit. So for admissions requirements, in order to be eligible for our entry-level MOT program, you do need to have a complete or in progress bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university. We do prefer a GPA of 3.0 or higher, but it is not required. We really do strive on take a holistic approach to our application process. We review everything that gets submitted through OTCAS. And we don't just base our review on the GPA alone. So as I mentioned, everything you would apply through OTCAS, which will be open Usually it's open mid-July through mid-June that you can apply for. But when you submit the application there, they'll guide you through the process of what you submit right through their website, but it does include submitting all of your official college and university transcripts, a personal statement, your resume, 3 recommendations for BayPath, and a signed essential functions form. It's about a 6-page document. You just need to upload the last page and submit that. But everything will be done right through OTCAS. And now we'll take a virtual photo tour of our Philip A. Tran Health Science Center. This is, I still think it's a brand new building. It was built in 2015, really for our health science programs. But every time you walk in, it smells brand new, it looks brand new. It's a very beautiful and innovative building for the health science programs. So the first floor is really designated towards our other health science programs, such as the PA program, genetic counseling, clinical mental health counseling program. On the first floor, there's a very large open area of where conferences sometimes are held. Towards the back of the first picture is where our little cafe, I would say this is where you can get coffee, soup, sandwiches. I believe they have ice cream even available. So just kind of snacks, and that is available Monday through Friday. In the middle is our fishbowl study rooms, or at least that's what I refer to them as. They are see-through with glass, but they are soundproof. A lot of people will use them for individual study if it's available, or they'll do group projects as well. But this area really, again, for our other health science programs, conferences, or just studying, great space for that. On our second floor is really mostly dedicated to our OT program. You have lots of space to do study, individual or group work. You have a little kind of a kitchen essentially without actual stoves, but you have microwaves, you have fridges, you have snack machines. A lot of students, when they have the long days on campus, they'll bring their lunch boxes with food. There's plenty of storage to store all of your cold items. But you'll have that. You do have individual study rooms as well, so you can do group work in those. Each room also has TVs that you can project all of your work as you're working in a group. Classrooms are also incredibly technology forward. You have screens that come down, all of the tables, you can plug in your computer and showcase all of your work right through there. You don't have to kind of get up. All of the tables and chairs are also collapsible, so the professors can really utilize the space and make it their own, appropriate for what they are trying to teach, and utilize the space correctly.
So I want to talk about our OT specific lab spaces. So we are very lucky, and this is something as you're looking at different programs, what educational space they have and what educational space is just for the program you're looking at. So we have actually 5 different labs that are only used for OT by OT. So that means we can house all our content in these labs, that we have priority to all these spaces, and we don't have to kind of fight or schedule the space with competing programs. So I know a lot of other universities, you have to compete with other programs for that space. So we have a little lab hallway that has 4 different smaller labs in them. So we have a modalities lab that has our ultrasound equipment, all our splinting equipment, because you will be making your own splints at BayPath. You'll be learning about modalities, so ultrasound and e-stim, and practicing on each other, placements, how to, what measures or settings to put the equipment on. We also have an anatomy lab, which you can see here. There's a sliver in the top right of a cadaver. We actually use we have limbs. So we have the upper body, we have literally a trunk. And we also have arms and hands that are plasticized body parts, which you will use in our anatomy lab to learn more about the musculature, insertions, innervations, what muscles do what, and how that, of course, impacts activity and performance. We also have a mental health lab where we have some sensory equipment, mental health assessments. So we can, you can practice running groups and completing assessments in that space. And then we also have a pediatric lab. So our pediatric lab has a lot of different equipment, from just children's toys to the center of the space does allow for our swing to hang from. So we were able to, we built this space with OT in mind. So structurally sound to be able to hang up our swings and supports so that you can practice some vestibular rehab to see how that, understand better how that might impact a child's even behavior or just ability to attend. And as you can see from the space too, we can move things around. So we have tables and chairs, but we can move them around to the edges if we want to use the space for other activities. So those 4 lab spaces are where most of your labs will be held. By far my favorite space, and these 2 images just show a very small portion of that space. It's basically a studio apartment. So it is the model apartment. So within the space, that's all open. We have a full kitchen, a full bathroom. We have a laundry area. We have kind of actually 2 different bedroom areas set up and a living room area. And we hold labs in this space, as well as we do a lot of lab practicals in this space, because this is where we can practice some of those, real life skills. We might have students put on some visual impairment goggles and move through the space with a peer and determine how to best adapt different activities, such as writing a check or finding items in a cabinet and completing a cooking activity, reading the ingredients, finding, being able to read the labels in the cabinet, and how might you modify it if somebody is visually impaired is just one activity we might do in that space. We might mess up the space and have you look at it of how we can adapt the space for to prevent falls, to allow somebody with that is using a walker or wheelchair. So we'll do a lot of functional transfers in the space. We can do in and out of bed. We can do on and off the toilet. We can do in and out of an actual tub, because we have all that available to us. So we don't have to simulate anything. We can practice all those different skills in that actual space. So it's really a wonderful space, by far my favorite place to teach. I'm always, but we're also really good at sharing it. Again, it's OT space only, but we'll talk with each other and say, hey, I have a lab practical. Can I have the space for an hour here or an hour there? And we all really enjoy working in this space.
Great, thank you. So this is Dr. Bukakis and I. Contact information. If you have any questions pertaining to the program, please do not hesitate to contact us. If you have any questions about admissions, feel free to connect with me via email or call me. I'll be more than happy to assist. But I just wanted to go over some of the more typical questions that are being asked when I chat with students about the program. One of them is, what support do we provide to prepare students for the MBCOT exam?
Always a great question. So one, we are really a big family at BayPath in our occupational therapy department, and that includes our students. So once students complete level 2 fieldwork, technically you will be graduating, but that does not mean that you aren't still a member of our family. So we continue to stay in touch with you. We will check in to see how you are doing. How is your exam prep going? We encourage you to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to meet with any of your faculty or advisors to help work with you or set a plan. Currently, we are using Therapy Prep, which is a 2-day course that helps prepare you for how to kind of study and prepare for the exam. It teaches you test taking strategies, how much time you need to set aside to be studying for the exam, to be well prepared to pass the exam. So we also, for students, purchase the MBCOT study pack, which is available to students until they pass the exam. So you'll continue to have access to that. And most of these resources continue to have, you have the ability to attend like another course for therapy ed if you want a little refresher. before you take the exam, depending on when you take the course and your exam is scheduled. The MBCOT exam prep, both of these resources have practice exams where you can practice take, the questions. We also just create within your courses, we try to style our exam questions similar in a way that you will see on the board exam. So we won't say, hey, what is the definition of this? We'll ask you, well, how, you have a client that is doing this, what is the most appropriate response? So you have to be able to not only know the information, but apply it. And that's really what the board exam is all about. So we try to tailor that as well in our exam questions and throughout the curriculum at VAPATH. So we're really trying to build that.
Great. Another question is, that typically comes up during conversation is, do you guys have a specialty that we can choose from?
As an entry-level program, we do not have any specialty areas that students work specifically towards. Your boards exam is an entry-level board exam, so we really are just creating a strong curriculum that will allow you to be the strongest entry-level practitioner that you can be. Depending on student skill level, you might, in different assignments, choose a specialty area or topic that interests you if you have that option within different class assignments. Sometimes out on level 2 fieldwork, if there's a more specialty area that you're interested in exploring more, if they can find you a placement in that area. If it is a specialty area, it is likely that there are fewer placements, but that's a possibility as well, where if you want exposure to a different area, then that might be possible in a level 2 fieldwork.
And kind of going off of that, a lot of the time it comes up, can I choose the classes? Is there electives for me to choose from? Is the schedule set? So can we just touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, again, encourage you to look at our curriculum outline as posted on our website. I like it because it also goes by semester. So you'll see our curriculum in one area is just all the courses listed, but I encourage you to look at the courses by semester too, just so you can see what your workload is. But we do have a set curriculum. So you take certain courses, certain semesters, and our courses are only offered once a year. So you have to take them in a certain sequence. And this is because we have a set curriculum, and you'll notice really at pretty much every OT program has a set curriculum because we have to meet ACOT standards. So ACOT accreditation standards, which we were accredited back in 2022. We went through our self-study. We've been accredited for a very long time, but every so many years you have to go through your process to be re-accredited. And I just want to say that we passed that with flying colors. And it was an amazing experience. We did a lot of hard work, but we got a 10-year accreditation, which is the highest that they will give. So just to show you that we really meet these standards, and the accreditation, ACOT felt that we really strongly met these standards because they gave us that 10-year accreditation. So because we have to meet those accreditation curriculum standards, we can't mix and match courses because certain courses meet certain standards. So that's why there is that very set, strict curriculum. And you'll see again, most courses have that. And if they have anything additional, it's just more additional work that you would have to do and pay for. So we really strongly believe in just that entry level generalist OT, where you are taking all the courses that are needed to help you pass that boards exam and meet those accreditation standards.
Cool. And then can you just chat a little bit more in detail of how supportive our faculty really are for the students?
Yeah, no, we have a great group of dedicated faculty. Many of us have been around for a long time. And as Anastasia stated, I actually came up many years ago through the Masters of OT program at VAPATH. Did a few years of clinical work and then came back as an adjunct and slowly wiggled my way into faculty. So many of us also continue to work on a per diem basis. So we're still very in touch with what is going on currently in the clinics. I currently am still per diem in the skilled nursing facility setting. Other clinicians are still per diem, and we have a certified hand therapist that still works in the clinic. We have other instructors that work as well in different, per diem, so kind of as needed on call, covering vacations and things like that. within hospitals, inpatient settings. So that being said, your faculty have been around. They have a lot of experience as professors. So we have been doing, all of us have been doing it for many years. We know our job as instructors, but we also, again, are staying in touch with the clinical aspect of being an OT as well. And so that we can share those stories. I always have new stories to tell my students, you know, when I am covering and and then I'm talking in class. It just helps to really be in touch with what is going on. So your faculty are there. As Anastasia stated, they're there on campus, but we're also, technology really makes us accessible. If there's something we can, and you can't meet during an office hour, we often can set up a Zoom or add an additional day, have you meet in the office at a different time. But we can really do it, most times. So we just always ask students to just keep communicating with us, let us know how things are going. As long as you give us enough notice, we're always happy to, set up a meeting or, have a quick chat.
Wonderful. Another question that does come up too is about, is there any benefit of submitting the application early through OTCAS? And definitely is. We are rolling admissions, so the sooner you apply and submit everything, the sooner we will be able to review your application and give you a decision. With that also comes, give you a definitive answer. If you have any prerequisites to complete, we'll be able to tell you that, and you'll have, the sooner you apply, the more time you'll have to complete those successfully without being rushed, with more options to you of where you can take it. And again, really focusing on passing that because that is critical. So, but we are rolling admissions. And it also, I think, takes off the load off of you and the stress to apply, especially before the winter holidays. I feel like that just puts a lot of pressure. And if you apply before that, it just gives you just a little sense of, relief, and hopefully you get the decision that you were looking for, and just have a really nice winter break, and just move forward, with the happy news, I guess, essentially. So something you can do. And one of the last questions, a lot of the time that gets brought up is, some students are very set of their passion. They either want to, a lot of times, sometimes people want to work with little kids. That's their passion. So can they do both of the field works in the same setting?
So your level 2 fieldwork placements have to be in 2 different settings. And that, again, is going to prepare you also for the boards exam. So we, of course, have many students that say, I want to be a PEDS OT, that's just what I'm going to do. Well, great, we can find you one placement in that setting, but to be well-rounded, to be best prepared, you will have a placement in a different setting. It could be a mental health setting, it could be a physical disability setting, it could be inpatient or outpatient. But we tell students to just keep an open mind, because you also maybe don't know, maybe you just don't have experience with another population. So you don't know whether you're going to like that population or not. I consider myself an older adult occupational therapist. That is my clinical background. And I can't say I didn't plan that when I went out, when I started OT school, but just through exposure, through practice, through different fieldwork placements, through different community experiences, I really learned to love and value the older adult population and the unique experiences they have, and also their unique quirks. So if you like PEDS, I always say older adults are a lot like PEDS. They don't have a filter. They're going to tell you how it is. They like their schedule and routine, just like kids do. But they also bring a lot of different aspects, have great stories, can really share lots of really interesting things with you. So I really find that the relationship is a give and take. So what I'm saying is just keep your mind open. But we, again, will, through all your curriculum and your fieldwork experiences, help you to be a well-rounded occupational therapist.
Haven't we had some students who were just so dead set on working with PEDS, like that's all they wanted to do, and then they didn't even that's not what they ended up loving after having so much experience with PEDS. They're like, no, I think I'm good.
Yeah,
so
or
that's
maybe
always,
experienced kids before and just assumed that they'd like it and then realized it's not as easy as I thought. So
Yeah.
absolutely goes both ways. But again, you are going to have different experiences with different populations, and we require that because it's going to make you the best therapist. So you won't ever just be able to focus on one area, because that's also not going to make you the best therapist, and it's not going to help you pass the boards exam if you're just focused on one area.
And you want that exposure too, because once you do graduate, you pass your boards exam, you don't know what kind of job also is available in your area too. So if you're very close-minded, you might not find employment right away. But if you're open-minded and take the job that maybe is not in your preferred area, work that, maybe you'll fall in love with it more, or maybe that's gonna solidify the area that, nope, I'm going to wait for my opportunity to work with a particular population or a particular setting, and the time will come. But being open is definitely, and having that experience will give you that confidence to work in any setting, not in just one specific area that you're interested in. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Dr. Bukakis or I. We are more than happy to help. But we just thank you for watching this video, for being involved, and we really hope that you choose Bay Path University.